At the beginning of the drama, we are shown that many cars are arriving together, in one of which our female lead, Mi-Chu, is sitting very sadly because today, her boyfriend, Tank, has died. Then, we are shown Tank's coffin. Mi-Chu says to Tank, "You told me that as soon as you returned from the US after 3 days, you would marry me. That's why I was so eagerly waiting for your return. Today, I was supposed to be your bride, but before becoming a bride, I have become a widow in your name." And then we see Tank, who is inside the coffin. The coffin is closed again, which Mi-Chu kisses while starting to cry, because she truly loved Tank very, very much. After which, even after everyone leaves, Mi-Chu is in the cemetery because she just didn't feel like leaving Tank. Just then, she sees Tank standing behind her, which shocks her. Then, she starts kissing Tank non-stop, and after this, she suddenly faints. In the next scene, when she opens her eyes, she is in a room, and she feels as if she truly felt Tank. Just then, a person named Harry arrives, who is the president of a big company. Mi-Chu asks, "Tell me, what am I doing at your house?" Harry explains, "Actually, you fainted at the event yesterday, so I brought you here." Hearing this, Mi-Chu remembers about yesterday. Now, Harry explains to her, "Look, dead people never come back." Then we are shown a scene from 6 months later, where Mi-Chu is still unable to forget Tank. Therefore, she thinks, then she mistakenly lies down on someone on the sofa. Just then, she hears a voice, "What are you doing?" Mi-Chu looks at the person, who is none other than Tank. She is shocked and says, "This can't be happening. This is just my imagination." That person is about to introduce himself, but Mi-Chu silences him and starts checking her mobile. And then, thinking that person is Tank, she starts to touch him. That person gets up and starts to leave, but Mi-Chu doesn't let him go. Instead, hugging him, she says, "I am unable to forget you. You have absolutely no idea how every single moment of mine is passing without you." Just then, Mi-Chu's stepmother comes there and asks, "What are you doing?" Then Mi-Chu shockingly asks, "Can you also see Tank?" Then that person pushes Mi-Chu away from him, and the stepmother says, "This is my cousin brother, Neon Bai." Then Mi-Chu comes to her room and thinks, how can two people have the same face? Then she hears someone on a TV show say, when a person experiences a big shock, their memory is lost. Therefore, Mi-Chu thinks that person is Tank himself, who has lost his memory. That's why I will prove that this person is not Neon Bai, but my Tank. Then she starts with Neon Bai's underwear. She thinks, Tank used to wear crayon underwear. If this person is not Neon Bai but Tank, then my suspicion will definitely be correct. And then, it turns out to be just that. All his underwear were crayon-themed. Then she starts round 2. She puts on a whale costume and comes running in front of Neon Bai saying, "Tank, please marry me." But when she is about to fall, Neon Bai saves Mi-Chu from falling. Neon Bai hugging her like this feels the same as Tank to Mi-Chu, so she says, "Tank, it's you, isn't it?" But Neon Bai says, "You foolish girl, I was just saving you from falling." Then Mi-Chu plans the final round. She searches for Tank's hair among his belongings and says, "I will do a DNA test." So she secretly comes to get Neon Bai's hair, but Neon Bai sees her and doesn't let her come near him. Mi-Chu insists, "Can I give you a hair massage?" After she forces him a lot, he agrees, but Mi-Chu drops the oil bottle, and all the oil falls on Neon Bai's hair, which makes Neon Bai very angry. Next, we see that when Neon Bai comes out after taking a bath, Mi-Chu again comes to him and says, "Here, let me dry your hair." But in her haste, she falls down, and at the same time, she also pulls down Neon Bai's towel, which makes both of them embarrassed. The stepmother also comes there, so Mi-Chu explains, "It's not what you are thinking. This was just an accident." In the next scene, we see that Neon Bai is sitting in the car thinking, "I will ruin the Hua Group, no matter what." The Hua Group is Mi-Chu's father's company. In the next scene, we see that Neon Bai says to Miss Rose, on a call, "The diamond project file is not in the office, but in your husband's study room. You will have to get the key for it." Miss Rose agrees, and now it is shown that she brings the key and gives it to Neon Bai. She tells him, "Tomorrow my husband will be going out with me, so you can complete this task then." Neon Bai agrees, but just then the lights turn on, and it seems as if Mi-Chu has heard everything. Then Neon Bai says to Mi-Chu, "You are that same crazy girl, aren't you, who started forcibly kissing me 6 months ago when I went to my friend's grave?" Mi-Chu is left shocked. "What? Was that person you? I thought all of that was just my imagination." In the next scene, Neon Bai was getting worried. It's so late at night. Why hasn't this girl come home yet? Because Mi-Chu had gone out with Harry to celebrate her birthday. Then when she comes home, Neon Bai asks her, "Where were you?" Mi-Chu tells him, "I was with my friend." Neon Bai asks, "Which friend?" Then he says, "Your parents are not at home, so it is my responsibility to take care of you." So in the course of the conversation, Mi-Chu reveals, "Today is my birthday, so please leave me alone." But Neon Bai had to steal the file from the study room. So he says to Mi-Chu, "I have a very good wine that I brought from the US. Would you like to try it?" Mi-Chu agrees. Then they both drink, where Mi-Chu says, "I don't get drunk easily." But we see that Michu has gotten badly drunk and is talking to Neonbai, thinking he is Tank. You have no idea how much I'm missing you. And when she starts getting too close to Neonbai, he pushes her away saying, you said you don't get drunk easily. Then she says, let me see. How is your neck? How is your chest? Is everything the same as before? I want to feel you. Neonbai tries hard to stop Michu, but she isn't listening, and then she faints. After laying her down in her room, Neonbai picks up the diamond project file from the study room. But as he is leaving, Michu asks him, what are you taking from my dad's study room? And what have you hidden behind your back? Neonbai thinks, what should I do now? On top of that, Michu was still drunk. So taking advantage of Michu's weakness, he says, I am Tank. I lied to you that I am Neonbai, when in fact, I am your Tank. Michu is shocked and says, I knew it from the start that you are my Tank. Do you even know how much I missed you? Then Michu starts to forcefully kiss Neonbai. In the meantime, Neonbai succeeds in hiding the file. But now, because Michu had come very close and was attracting Neonbai, he also couldn't stop himself from kissing Michu, after which they both start kissing each other and come to the room. Here too, their romance continues for a long time, during which Neonbai even says, because of your father, I don't want to like you, but I can't control myself. And while they were romancing, Michu faints due to being too drunk. Then we are shown the morning scene, where they both were sleeping very close to each other. At first, Michu was happy, thinking Neonbai was Tank, so she even kisses him. But when she comes to her senses, she pushes Neonbai away from her. What are you doing in my room? Then Neonbai tells her the whole story. You were the one who forcibly brought me here. Then Michu asks Neonbai, nothing much happened between us last night, right? Hearing this, Neonbai starts to show her, look at how many love bites you gave me. Then Michu suddenly remembers Tank, because he also used to show his neck in the exact same way. In the next scene, we see that Michu is told on a call, the DNA report has arrived. We are sending it to you online. Actually, she had somehow taken Neonbai's hair and sent it for a DNA test. Then she remembers when she was dressed as a bride, waiting for Tank to return. But just then, she is told on a call, your husband-to-be was involved in a crime, so he has been shot. The mobile falls from Michu's hand. In the next scene, when Michu sees Neonbai's report, she finds out that it has come back negative, meaning Neonbai and Tank are not the same person but different individuals. This news breaks Michu's heart because she thought that Neonbai was Tank. Therefore, being sad, she drinks a lot at night. She thought, I thought I had found you again, but you weren't the one I considered my own. Then, the meat that Michu wanted to eat was finished, while the person sitting behind her was eating that same meat. So she immediately goes to that person and starts eating the meat, which results in a kiss between them. And that person was Neonbai, who was keeping an eye on Michu because of his mission. Next, we are shown that when Michu is leaving drunk, two men say, the girl looks good, why don't we take her with us? But just then, Neonbai arrives like a hero, first putting headphones on the drunk Michu so she can't hear anything, and then starts beating those guys badly, while Michu knew nothing because she was comfortably listening to music and swaying. In the next scene, we see that Neonbai is drinking water after taking a bath, and Miss Rose sees him and starts getting attracted to him. Then taking the glass from Neonbai, she says, here, I'll put this away. She goes outside and kisses the spot where Neonbai's lips had been. The next day, while getting ready, Michu thinks, finally, the confusion about Tank and Neonbai is over. Now I will focus only on my business, that is, the Honey Love jewelry business that I and Tank started together. Then while leaving, she says, Tank, even if you are not with me, you will always be in my heart. We see Neonbai standing outside. Seeing Michu, he thinks, how can a girl look so beautiful? They both say hello to each other. Michu says, Uncle, I am going to the office for work. Michu's father, Mr. Han, is with Miss Rose. He explains, I worked so hard on the diamond project, but we didn't get it. Instead, some American company got it. Miss Rose becomes happy because Neonbai has done his job. Then her eyes fall on the property papers, and she understands that Mr. Han is going to distribute the property. Then she calls Neonbai and angrily tells him, Mr. Han doesn't consider me anything. I am his wife. Neonbai says, don't worry, I will get all the information for you. Next, we see Michu attending an office meeting where she says, I will bring a little change to the Honey Love locket. The design will remain the same as what Tank created, but with a few changes, sales can increase because sales are down right now. Just then, Miss Rose arrives there. Michu is surprised to see her. Miss Rose says, why did you stop? Keep talking. I want to listen. Michu welcomes her. On the other side, Neonbai secretly comes into Michu's cabin and starts searching, where he finds a photo of Tank that Michu always keeps. He tries to open Michu's locker, but it only opens with her fingerprint. Just then, Michu comes back and seeing someone sitting in the chair, she freezes, thinking it's Tank. But she knows this is not Tank, but Neonbai. So she says to herself, why do I keep thinking he is Tank? She asks Neonbai the reason for his coming there. He says, I look like Tank to you, right? But I don't think Tank would be as stylish as me. He must have been old-fashioned. Michu gets annoyed and says, stop talking nonsense. My Tank was more stylish than you. He was the best in everything. Neonbai comes closer and says, if you don't feel anything when you see me, then why did you kiss me that day? Michu explains, I was drunk and eating my favorite meat, so all that happened, sorry. Neonbai says, don't lie. I know you feel something when you come near me, that's why you blush. Michu says, no, it's nothing like that. Even though you look like Tank, you can't take his place. Neonbai says, all right, stick to your words, and leaves from there. Michu then realizes, yes, something does happen when Neonbai comes close. I really do blush. Meanwhile, Neonbai cleverly takes Michu's fingerprints. In the next scene, Neonbai comes to Michu's cabin and looks at the property files. Then he tells Miss Rose, your suspicion was correct. Mr. Han is going to transfer all his property to Michu's name. Hearing this, Miss Rose gets angry. I took care of this old man day and night, and he is not giving anything in my name. She resolves in her mind, I will teach him a lesson. Then she tells Neonbai, I have rented an apartment for you. Stay there because it's not good to stay too long at Mr. Han's house. Neonbai agrees. In the next scene, Miss Rose is at the hospital because Mr. Han has had a heart attack. When Michu arrives there, Miss Rose pretends to be innocent. I don't know what happened. I went to take a bath, and he fainted. Then, acting dizzy, she says to Michu, you stay here. I'll go home to rest. Michu says, okay. In the next scene, Michu is sitting worriedly beside her father. First Tank left, now father's condition is serious, and the business is also not doing well. Then she tells herself, I have to be strong. Just then, she receives photos of new designs, and she starts working right there. In the next scene, Neonbai comes to his apartment and is shocked to see Miss Rose. He asks, how did you get inside? Miss Rose says, I wanted to give you a surprise. By the way, good news. The Hua group will soon be ours because I have sent Mr. Han to the hospital. His condition is serious. He will die. Neonbai says in shock, then you should be at the hospital. Miss Rose says, chill, no one will suspect anything. I acted pitifully in front of Michu. She herself sent me to rest. Neonbai thinks, she is so cunning, but he starts to worry about Michu. So he goes to the hospital. At the hospital, seeing Michu sleeping on a bench, he covers her with his coat. Just then, Michu's assistant tells him, she looks soft, but she is very strong. Despite so much happening, she is handling everything. So Neonbai feels bad for Michu and thinks, from now on, I will protect her, even though she is Mr. Han's daughter. In the next scene, Michu gets a message from Neonbai. She goes to meet him outside. In the rain, Neonbai comes under her umbrella and makes her happy by showing her a plant. Michu thanks him. At first you seemed rude, but you are a good person. So he becomes happy. When Michu goes to her father in the hospital, she finds out that he has regained consciousness, which makes her happy. But Miss Rose's mood gets spoiled because she thought Mr. Han would die. In the next scene, Michu gets a shock at the office that Honeylove's sales have suddenly increased. The assistant tells her, this happened because of a like from Mr. Lewis, who is famous on social media. Michu thinks, I should collaborate with him, but the assistant says, he doesn't deal directly with anyone. Michu says, Mr. Louis is my last hope. I will convince him. On the other side, Neonbai, who is Mr. Lewis, smiles seeing Michu's emails because he had deliberately liked the Honeylove post. He thinks, I knew you would definitely look for me. Then he comments from a fake ID, where my uncle works as a security guard. He has seen Mr. Louis there. He says, Mr. Louis is also very handsome. And then he also writes his address, saying, Michu will surely come here looking for me. In the next scene, Michu has come below that building. Just then, Michu sees Neonbai, and she asks him, do you live here? That's great. I also need to go inside. I'm looking for Mr. Lewis, and I know he lives right here. Then she goes inside and looks around the whole place. There are so many apartments here, so how will I find Mr. Lewis now? She asks Neonbai, how many rooms are in your apartment? Neonbai replies, 2, but why are you asking? To which Michu says, because I'm thinking, why not stay at your place for a few days until I find Mr. Lewis? Neonbai refuses, saying, even I have never seen Mr. Lewis. I don't know if he even lives here. To which Michu says, no, he lives right here. I saw the post. He is the last hope for my Honeylove business, so I have to find him somehow. Then Neonbai agrees to let her stay in his apartment. In the next scene, we see that Michu really likes Neonbai's apartment, so she praises the entire apartment. So Neonbai says, don't break anything here because I don't like such things. To which Michu asks, are you saying that while living here, I should do everything after asking you and you will decide everything for me too? Then Neonbai quickly pulls Michu close to him and says, yes, you will do what I say, and if I had my way, I would would even decide your clothes, what you should wear. Michu is shocked by Neonbai's words and then starts to push him away from her, saying, I know you are scaring me so that I leave this place, but I am not one to run away scared, because I have decided that I will leave from here only after finding Mr. Lewis. Just then, Miss Rose arrives there. She is shocked to see Michu in Neonbai's house and asks, What are you doing here? Neonbai explains, Actually, Michu is looking for Mr. Lewis, so she will be staying here for a few days. Miss Rose says, I want to talk to Neonbai alone, to which Michu says, Yes, of course you two talk, and then she leaves from there. After Michu leaves, Miss Rose asks, Why on earth did you reveal your address? This means Miss Rose also knows that Neonbai is Mr. Lewis. Neonbai explains, Because I myself want to collaborate with Michu so that I can slowly enter her group, and before defeating the enemy, one must also know them. That's why I have given Michu permission to stay at my home. In the next scene, we see that while looking for Mr. Lewis, Michu starts searching inside the dustbin. Neonbai is utterly shocked to see this. He asks Michu, Why on earth are you doing this? To which Michu explains, because Mr. Lewis is a foreigner, so obviously he would use foreign products, not Chinese ones. So, in whichever apartment's dustbin I find foreign items, I will understand that Mr. Lewis lives there. Neonbai says, You are completely stupid. Then he forcibly picks up Michu and carries her away. Just then, we are shown that someone is secretly taking photos of the two of them. Next, we see that both of them return home. Neonbai is washing Michu's hands with his own hands, and Michu likes all this. How much he cares for me. Then he dries her hands very lovingly. Michu asks, Are you this kind to every girl? Neonbai pulls Michu towards him and, getting very close, explains, I am not kind to every girl. I am only good to those in whom I have an interest. And then he leaves from there. In the next scene, Neonbai is thinking, This stupid girl will never find out that I am Mr. Lewis this way. So he clicks a photo of the view from the window and uploads it on social media, so that Michu understands that the apartment she is living in belongs to Mr. Lewis. After this, Michu comes and says, Mr. Lewis has uploaded a photo of the view from his apartment. But what is this? This looks like the view from around here. Neonbai is about to say, Yes, your suspicion is correct. I am Mr. Lewis. But Michu says, This means Mr. Lewis is your neighbor who lives nearby. And then she goes out to find him. After a while, Michu comes back with a long face and says that an old man lives upstairs and college students live downstairs, meaning Mr. Lewis is not here at all. Michu is then doing some work when she finds out that Mr. Lewis has uploaded another photo, which was of a statue in his house. But before Michu could notice it properly, she gets a call from Harry, who wanted to meet Michu on the pretext of giving her some important papers. Michu says, I am not at home. I have come to stay at my uncle's house for a few days. In the next scene, we see that the doorbell rings, and when Neonbai opens the door, Harry is completely shocked to see Neonbai. Neonbai also looked surprised to see Harry. Just then, Michu comes and takes Harry inside and introduces him to Neonbai. This is my stepmother's cousin brother. Then she says softly, He looks exactly like Tank, doesn't he? Initially, I was also confused, but he is not Tank. Then they both shake hands. Harry says, When Michu told me about her uncle, I thought it would be some old man, but you look very young. To this, Neonbai replies, Yes, people are often surprised to see me. By the way, Michu never told me about you either. To which Harry says, That's because you are not as close to Michu as I am. Then Michu says to Harry, You were supposed to bring documents for me, right? Where are they? Harry gives the documents to Michu. Michu says, Come on, as a thank you, I will treat you to a meal outside. But Neonbai stops both of them and says, When guests come home for the first time, they should be served home-cooked food. So you two should not go out together. Michu asks in shock, Do you really know how to cook? To which Neonbai replies, You shouldn't doubt a multi-talented handsome uncle like me. After this, Michu and Harry are sitting together and talking. Seeing them laughing together, Neonbai gets very jealous, so he keeps calling Michu to him with excuses. Then, Neonbai has the noodles ready, which look very good. Neonbai gives Harry very few noodles while he fills his and Michu's plates, so Harry makes a face. Michu tastes the noodles, which she likes a lot, so she starts praising Neonbai, which makes him happy. He says, See, I already told you that I am multi-talented. When Michu notices Harry's plate, she starts giving noodles to Harry from her plate, which Neonbai didn't like at all. How can she care for him like this? But Harry becomes happy there. Michu takes such good care of me. In the next scene, we see that Michu comes out and tells Harry everything. I am looking for Mr. Lewis. That's why I'm staying here with Uncle Neonbai. So Harry says, "That's fine, but you and Neonbai are not blood related. Therefore, living with a stranger like this could prove to be dangerous." To which Michu says, "I know Uncle does strange things, but he is not a bad person." Hearing this, the smile disappears from Harry's face, and he asks someone on a call to get Neonbai's details. In the next scene, when Michu comes home, Neonbai comes very close to her and kisses her, which shocks Michu even more. Then she pushes Neonbai away from her. Neonbai says, "Sorry, whenever you are close to me I can't stop myself." And when he is about to leave, Michu says, "I can't stop myself either because every time you come close you make me feel like it's Tank." Just then, Neonbai comes back and scolds her for calling Harry there. "I don't like unknown people coming to the house, so next time, you will not invite anyone to the house without asking me." Michu gets angry at this and transfers half the rent to Neonbai, saying, "From now on, this house is half mine too, so you can't order me around." They both start fighting with each other when Michu's eyes fall on the statue. This is the same statue that Mr. Lewis posted on his account. Neonbai thinks, "Well, finally, she found out that I am Mr. Lewis." But Michu says, "This means you are also a fan of Mr. Lewis. That's why you have kept a cheap quality replica of his statue in your house. When I meet Mr. Lewis, I will arrange a fan meeting for you too." Neonbai thinks, "She is so stupid. Even after so many hints, she doesn't understand that I am Mr. Lewis." In the next scene, we see that Harry comes to Michu's office and says, "Don't worry, I am going to organize a big party where all the big companies of the industry will come, in which we will also invite Mr. Lewis. So you can find Mr. Lewis." Michu says, "But I don't know if Mr. Lewis will even come because he doesn't want to reveal his face." Then she gets an idea. "Why don't we add masks to the party? Then Mr. Lewis will surely come." Harry also likes Michu's mask idea. In the next scene, we see that at night, Michu tries on different dresses to decide what to wear to the party tomorrow. She asks Neonbai, "How does this dress look?" Neonbai finds Michu very pretty, but the dress was quite revealing, so he says, "What on earth do you want to show people?" Michu gets annoyed and goes to change. Then Michu comes out wearing another dress, but Neonbai finds fault with this one too. "This is too short. Everyone will make fun of your skinny legs, and I won't like it either that everyone looks at you that way." Michu says, "What are you talking about? All skirts are short." But she still goes to change the dress. When she comes out wearing the third dress, Neonbai just keeps staring at Michu, meaning he finds Michu very, very pretty. Michu couldn't close the zipper, so Neonbai helps her. His touch again makes her feel like it's Tank, so she freezes right there. Neonbai asks with a smile, "What happened? Do you like my touch?" Michu doesn't reply and quickly goes inside. In the next scene, Michu has a dream where Neonbai comes forward to kiss her. She stops him, but despite not wanting to, she starts getting attracted to him. Then they both kiss each other for a long time. Then, Michu's sleep breaks, and she realizes that it was all just a dream. In the next scene, we see that today is the party day. Michu was well-dressed for the party, but when she was about to apply lipstick, Harry says, "Let me help," and very lovingly applies lipstick on Michu, because he still likes Michu. In the next scene, Michu is waiting for Mr. Lewis at the party. When Neonbai comes inside showing his invitation card, Michu's assistant tells her, "Mr. Lewis has arrived at the party, wearing a black suit and a black mask." Michu starts looking for Louis. Meanwhile, Miss Rose also comes to the party and asks Neonbai, "Why did you come here when you know it's not right for you to be here?" Neonbai says, "Michu can't even recognize that I am Mr. Lewis. That's why I had to come here." Harry also overhears all this from behind and understands that Neonbai is Mr. Lewis. He makes a call and summons several boys who look like Neonbai so that Michu can't find Mr. Lewis. And he says, "Neonbai, I will not let you succeed in your mission." Michu starts coming towards Neonbai, so Neonbai thinks that she has recognized him. He thinks, "I want to see her shocked face when she finds out that I am Mr. Louis." But Michu passes by. So he starts playing Mr. Lewis's favorite song and starts dancing to it, so that now Mr. Lewis will surely come forward. Neonbai starts dancing with Michu. But with Neonbai's arrival, Michu forgets about Mr. Lewis and starts missing Tank. So she tells him, "You reminded me of someone who was going to marry me, but is no longer in this world. I don't want to forget him, but I'm afraid I might start liking someone else." Neonbai says, "You should only listen to your heart." Michu replies, "No, I only want to keep Tank in my heart. I can't give Tank's place to someone else just by being attracted to them." Hearing Michu's words, Neonbai thinks how much she loves her lover Tank. Then Harry quickly comes to Michu and asks, "Are you okay?" Michu says, "Just now, I felt as if I met Tank." Harry gets worried hearing this because he doesn't want Tank or anyone like Tank to come back into Michu's life. In the next scene, we see that Michu was looking at a photo of a famous influencer who was handsome. Neonbai gets annoyed and says, "Why are you staring at him so intently?" Michu explains, "Because I am searching for a new influencer for collaboration." Neonbai asks, And what about Mr. Lewis? Michu says, no, now that he can't be found, where can I find him from? Neonbai starts criticizing the body of the guy in the photo. Michu asks, are you getting jealous? Neonbai laughs, why would I be jealous? I am no match for anyone. I am super handsome. To tease him, Michu says, yes, just dream about it. Neonbai says, don't make fun of me. Michu starts laughing loudly, then says, this is no joke. I have invested a lot of my money in this business. That's why I am looking for a famous person who can promote our jewelry brand well, meaning our sales should increase even more than before. In the next scene, Neonbai hears screaming from Michu's room. She is in a lot of pain. He takes her to the doctor. In the next scene, we see Michu talking to a nurse. Actually, Michu has piles, that is, back swelling, for which she doesn't want to get surgery. She says, tell the doctor to just give me medicine. But the nurse says, no, you will have to undergo surgery. Michu says, please don't tell Neonbai anything about my condition, that I have piles. But just then, Neonbai comes inside and says, tell me where to sign. In the next scene, we see that Michu's surgery is done, about which she tells her stepmother, that is, Miss Rose. Neonbai brings fruits for her. Miss Rose also hears Neonbai's voice and understands that Neonbai is there. When she is holding Neonbai's collar, they both come very close to each other. Just then, a nurse comes and says to both of them, I know you two are a couple, but the wound is still fresh, so you shouldn't get up and sit too much. To which Michu says, we are not a couple, he is my uncle. The nurse is surprised. Such a young uncle. So she starts asking Neonbai for his number. But Michu says he has many girlfriends, has had 2 divorces, and he is over 50. So the nurse quickly runs away from there. Neonbai says, you were jealous. That's why you scared the nurse away? Michu says, no, it's nothing like that. Then Neonbai says, your wound is still fresh, so don't sit for too long. Hearing this, Michu covers his mouth and warns, if you tell anyone about this surgery of mine, it won't be good. Just then, Harry also comes there and is shocked to see them so close. He asks, what are you two doing? She says, nothing at all. Something was stuck in Uncle's teeth, so I was just checking that. Harry asks, by the way, what happened to you? Michu starts lying. Nothing at all happened. I just felt dizzy. And look, I am perfectly fine now. But when she sees her piles flow, she asks Neonbai to hide it. Neonbai hides her pillow, which Harry doesn't like. What could be the matter? What kind of secret is it that she can share with Neonbai but not with me? Harry says, come on, I'll stay here to take care of you. But Michu refuses him too. No, Uncle Neonbai is staying here to take care of me. The next day, we see that Michu is completely fine and comes to her company. Her assistant tells her, there is bad news. Some jewelry company has launched designs exactly like ours. Some worker from our company has stolen the designs and sold them. Michu gets worried because the designs that were stolen were supposed to be launched by Michu, for which she had already made a deal. Then she checks the CCTV footage, but she can't see anyone. So she asks Neonbai for help, saying, I only trust you. Then they both sit all night and check the footage, where Neonbai notices that a few minutes of clip are missing from one footage, so the theft must have happened at this time. Michu also carefully watches that clip. Then we are shown that when Michu is going back home, she is very sad. Neonbai doesn't feel good at all seeing Michu sad, so he says, why don't you think that I am Tank? Then he hugs Michu and says, welcome Michu. You are handling our business so well all by yourself. I feel proud of you. And you don't need to be sad because problems come and go in business. So don't lose courage because you are a brave girl. Michu starts crying badly, which also lightens her heart. She thanks Neonbai from the bottom of her heart. She praises Neonbai's shirt buttons. These are very unique, Neonbai tells her. Yes, I had this made by a traditional craftsman. Michu remembers that Tank also used to use some things made with traditional techniques. So an idea comes to her that if I also add traditional techniques to Honeylove, then our jewelry brand can become even more unique and famous. So she decides that now I will do just that, but first, I will find that thief who is in the company. Then, at night, Neonbai talks to the same company owner who launched Michu's designs. Here, Neonbai talks as Mr. Lewis because he has connections with big companies, so after giving a little warning, Neonbai finds out who had stolen and sold Michu's designs to them. Then in the dark, we see a girl who has come back scared to check something again. Just then, Michu says to her, the game is over, because we have found out that you were the thief. From a flashback, we learn how Neonbai tells Michu the whole truth, on which Michu is surprised. You have connections with such big companies. Then we see that the girl starts to deny it. I haven't done anything. What proof do you people have that I committed the theft? Then Harry shows her a mobile and says, here is the proof in which you are clearly seen stealing the designs because I have also recovered the trimmed footage. Seeing everything against her, the girl starts apologizing, but Michu says, I am firing you, and legal action will also be taken against you. Then we see that Michu thanks Harry Harry for bringing the recovered footage at the right time. So then Harry says, "It's okay. You are the one who says that you only trust me." Then Nianbai doesn't like this at all, because Michu had said the same thing to him, that she only trusts Nianbai. Therefore, when they come home and Michu says, solving any mystery requires a lot of effort, Nianbai says, "Harry and I did everything." To this, Michu replies, "I am capable enough that everyone helps me." This is a sign of good leadership. So Nianbai comes close to Michu and says, "You said the same thing to me, that you only trust me, and you said the same thing to Harry." Michu says, "I said that to Harry before you came, and that day in the office, only you were trustworthy, so I said the same thing to you too. So don't mind it too much." And then to calm Nianbai down, she starts feeding him chips. So Nianbai doesn't eat the chips from her hand, but eats them in a different style, and leaves, saying, "I'm forgiving you this time, but I won't next time," which shocks Michu. On the other side, we are shown that the girl who had committed the theft tells the whole story to Miss Rose, which makes Miss Rose very angry. Next, we are shown that Michu and Nianbai have both come to the craftsman, but he flatly refuses to collaborate, saying, "Many companies like you come here," whom I flatly refuse. As he is about to close the door, Michu puts her hand forward so that the door doesn't close. So Nianbai also puts his hand forward, but in the process of saving Michu's hand, his hand gets injured. Then Michu applies medicine to Nianbai and says, "You shouldn't have put your hand forward." Nianbai gets close to Michu and asks, "Are you worried about me?" Just then, the uncle tells them both to leave, saying, "You've applied the medicine now, right? So both of you leave from here." Michu requests, "Please let us stay here tonight because it's very late and we have come from far away." Nianbai starts acting like his hand is in pain. So the uncle says, "Okay, you two can stay here tonight. I will give you a room to stay in." Michu says, "Just one room?" Then the uncle says, "Aren't you two a couple? If that's the case, then leave now." So they both start acting again, "We are a couple." After which, at night then we are shown both of them on the bed, where Michu says to Nianbai, "You are not to cross this line." And when she tries to sleep, he pulls the entire blanket to his side. Michu gets very angry. Then when they both finally lie down peacefully, mosquitoes start to bother Michu. Seeing Michu troubled, Nianbai rolls up his sleeves and sits up so that the mosquitoes leave Michu and start drinking his blood. So Michu says, "Your blood is not sweet." Next, we are shown the morning scene where both are sleeping. Nianbai opens his eyes. Then seeing Michu so close to him, he kisses Michu's forehead. But when Michu wakes up, he pretends to be asleep. Then we are shown that these two are waiting for the uncle to come downstairs. He comes downstairs and asks, "Why didn't you two leave from here?" So Michu says, "It's about to rain, so how can we go?" He says, "But it hasn't rained." Just then, it starts to rain, which gives both of them a chance to stay there for another day. Then, Michu requests the uncle for collaboration, so he gives them a challenge. "Make me a ring exactly like this in one day." Nianbai was surprised. "How can we make this in one day?" But Michu agrees, "I will do it." After which, they both work very hard to get that ring ready, where they both also enjoyed the moment well. And after giving their best, they finally get the ring ready. And when they show the ring to the uncle in the evening, the uncle doesn't like it, so he flatly refuses to collaborate. In the next scene, we see that Harry has also arrived there. Michu is very happy to see Harry, but Nianbai asks, "How did you know we are here?" Just then the uncle says, "Harry is a very good person who's going to help a lot in the development of this village." Actually, Harry is doing all this so that Mr. Zane agrees to collaborate with Michu. Then Harry says to Michu, "I have booked 3 rooms in the guest house here, so you don't need to stay here anymore." The next day, Nianbai is going from his room to Michu's room to say good morning to her. But as he knocks on the door, Harry opens the door, which shocks Nianbai. "What were you doing in Michu's room?" Then, as soon as Nianbai comes into the room, he sees Michu eating food and drinking. Nianbai gets angry and says, "How can you, a single girl, drink with a boy?" So Michu asks, "Brother, why are you getting so hyper? I drank with you too. Was all that not wrong?" Nianbai says, "But my case is different." Michu replies, "You are my friend, and Harry is also my friend." In the next scene, Michu and Nianbai are once again talking to the uncle, where Michu says, "We will not use you, but will genuinely appreciate your art." But he was not agreeing. So Nianbai says, "If you don't give anyone a chance, then how will your art become famous? And if it doesn't become famous, then why would people want to learn it?" Just then a boy comes and asks, "Is this the craftsman's house? I want to learn art from him." Then a girl also comes and says the same thing. Seeing both of them, the uncle is shocked and happy that 2 students have come. They both say, "We saw Mr. Lewis's post in which he wrote very well about your art. That's why we have come to learn from you." Nianbai says, "See, if you collaborate with us, then even more students will like your art and come to learn it." Then the uncle gets super happy and says, "These two are really appreciating and promoting my art. So he agrees to a deal with Michu, saying, I hope I will never have a chance to complain about you two. After this, Michu is shocked. Why is this Mr. Lewis helping us? When she sees the post, she is surprised. This is a photo from yesterday. Did Mr. Lewis come here? Then she remembers the apartment post of Mr. Lewis, the statue post, all of which were linked to Neon Bai. Then Michu asks Neon Bai, are you the famous jewelry influencer, Mr. Lewis? To which Neon Bai says, thank God, you finally understood now. Otherwise, I thought this fact would never enter your small brain. Michu is super surprised. Then she insists to Neon Bai, please collaborate with me. Neon Bai says, I admit I know you, but I won't agree so easily. Michu starts to persuade him. Neon Bai, who was already ready, was just throwing tantrums to tease Michu. Just then, Michu sees a milk packet lying there, which could fall on Neon Bai because of a bicycle. So she comes forward to save him, but then she remembers that her dress is super expensive and her favorite. She can't ruin it. So she steps back, which ruins Neon Bai's clothes. He is scolding Michu when Michu's foot twists, and while saving her, Neon Bai accidentally kisses her on the forehead. Next, we see a scene in their apartment. Neon Bai is preparing breakfast, and Michu was helping him. Just then, Harry rings the doorbell outside. He tells Michu, I have also taken an apartment in this building because you praised it so much. From today, we are neighbors. So Michu gets happy, but Neon Bai's blood was boiling hearing this. Why has he come to live here? Then he calls Michu, breakfast is ready. He says to Harry, sorry, Mr. Harry, we have made breakfast for only 2 people, so you will have to go. So Harry says bye and leaves. But in the meantime, Neon Bai's hand gets injured. Michu gets worried and asks, where is the bandage kept? Neon Bai says, in my room. Michu comes to the room to find the bandage, where she sees a box, but before she can open it, Neon Bai stops her. Michu asks, why did you do that? To change the subject, Neon Bai says, I am ready to collab with you. So Michu gets happy and starts jumping. Neon Bai takes her out of the room. In the night scene, Neon Bai opens the same box, in which there is the same glass puppy that Tank also had. Then he says, Michu, forgive me. I can't tell you right now that I am Tank. This means Tank was not dead. He is alive. He then further explains, a year ago I wouldn't have survived, but Miss Rose, your stepmother, saved me. I wanted to wake up and see you in front of me, but that didn't happen. I tried to go to you, but Miss Rose stopped me and told me that your father had tried to kill me. Actually, Michu was the lost heiress of the Hua family, whom Mr. Han had recently found. He thought Tank came close to Michu for her property, so he tried to kill him. Tank is shattered to learn this because he liked Michu long before Mr. Han found her. So how could he have come close for the property? In the next scene, Tank is missing Michu while looking at her photo. He also gets the news that Michu has accepted the Hua family, and in her eyes, Tank is dead. Tank is even more hurt to learn this. Then he says, I couldn't go in front of you, but I will secretly take care of you. In a flashback, we see that in a restaurant, Michu orders alcohol, but Tank finds out from the waiter and gets the alcohol canceled, saying, she is my girlfriend. We recently broke up. I know she can't drink much alcohol. Then he says, I used to see you from a distance and be happy. When you lost the necklace I gave you, I returned it to you. It was sad for me that I couldn't come to you, but it was my compulsion. Later, he tells Miss Rose, I want to take revenge on Mr. Han. I want to bring his reality in front of everyone, including Michu. Miss Rose says, this is dangerous. If Mr. Han finds out you are alive, you can't even imagine what he will do to you. But Tank didn't listen. Then he explains that it wasn't him in the coffin, but his dummy, which made people believe his death was real. But when he saw Michu crying there, he couldn't control himself and came in front of her. Whenever Michu came in front of him, he tried to stay in the character of Neon Bai, but he couldn't stop himself from hugging or kissing her. He says, once my mission is complete and I bring Mr. Han's truth in front of everyone, then I will tell Michu that I am Tank. In the present scene, when Michu is sleeping, Tank comes to her, fixes her blanket, and leaves after kissing her. Later, it is revealed that Michu was not asleep. She likes it when Tank does all this. In the next scene, Tank asks a girl to trap that man in a love net and bring him. After that, Tank asks him, on whose orders did you shoot me? Who made this fake ID and passport? When he doesn't speak, Tank turns on the AC at full speed, which worsens his condition. In the next scene, Tank is copying info from her laptop in Michu's cabin. But Michu comes there and asks, what are you doing on my laptop? Tank is shocked and thinks about what excuse to make. Then he picks up Tank's photo, his own photo, tears it, and says, how long will you be lost in the thoughts of this boy? Michu shouts, what are you doing? Have you gone mad? Tank says, people who have left the world should be forgotten. Michu says, who are you to tell me this? I will never forget Tank. I will only love him, not you. Now get out of here. After the info is copied to the pen drive, he quickly leaves. Coming outside, he thinks, I have never seen Michu so angry before. Michu also cries because she doesn't feel good getting angry at Neonbai, but what he did was also wrong. In the next scene, Harry comes to Michu and asks, why are your eyes red? Were you crying? Michu denies it. Harry says, I have to talk about work, but I'm not free right now. Now that we are neighbors, let's have a meeting in my apartment. I will also make dinner. Michu says, yes, okay, we can meet later too. At night, Michu goes to Harry's apartment. Harry had made a lot of food which Michu likes, but when Michu goes to the washroom, Nienbai's calls come on her phone, which annoys Harry, and he puts the phone on silent and hides it in his pocket. Michu comes back and asks about the phone, to which Harry says, your phone's battery died, so I put it on charging. Then he says, try this new wine. You will like it. Michu tastes the wine, which was very good, but Harry had mixed something in it, which makes Michu drunk, and she starts acting erratically. Over here, Tank is worried that Michu hasn't come home yet and is not answering his calls. He goes out to find Michu. He calls her assistant, who tells him that Michu had gone to meet Harry. Tank looks towards Harry's window where the light is on. He thinks, I hope Michu is not in trouble. There, Michu had fainted, and Harry is looking at her strangely and says, from today, you will be mine forever. Just then, Tank starts knocking on the door of Harry's apartment, but Harry doesn't open the door, so Tank breaks the lock and quickly goes inside and pushes Harry away from Michu. He then punches him. Michu wakes up hearing the noise and asks, what is happening? And Harry, how did you get this blood on your lips? So Harry acts and says, I just laid you on the couch because you had fallen asleep, but Nienbai came and started hitting me. Tank tries to explain that this man is lying. In fact, he was about to do something bad to you. But Michu doesn't believe him because in her eyes, Harry is a very good person who can never do such a thing. Tank then says to Michu, come with me right now. And then he brings her to his apartment. He says to her, what was the need for you to go to Harry's house at this time? Michu also starts fighting. By what right are you shouting at me so much? And whatever I do, wherever I go, what's it to you? And if you want to talk to me, then first stop shouting. Tank finally calms down because the truth is that it was not Michu's fault, as she doesn't know Harry's true nature. And now, after calming himself down, Tank gives Michu a photo of his old look, seeing which Michu is surprised. How did you get this photo? But he doesn't give any reply, and instead starts to remember how he had taken this photo in his old look, because in the morning, Michu was angry with Tank for tearing the photo kept in the cabin, after which, it is shown how happy Michu is as she puts the photo back in the frame. But suddenly, she starts feeling pain in her shoulder. Michu doesn't understand why this pain is happening, when she was fine until the morning. There, Tank, who has fallen asleep, starts having a bad dream. What if I hadn't reached Michu on time? What would Harry have done to my Michu? So he wakes up with a start and says, I have to keep a close eye on Harry because he's not a good person at all. Next time we see, Michu has again come to Harry's house to talk about work. Harry says, I'll make coffee for you. But as he is giving the coffee, it falls from his hand, which ruins Michu's clothes. Harry says, sorry, it happened by mistake. I have a dress if you want, you can change into it. Michu agrees, and when she comes out wearing that dress, Harry just keeps staring at Michu. Then he says to himself, she looks exactly like her. If the haircut were a little shorter, then she would look exactly like her. Then Michu started doing her work, but Harry was non-stop looking at her. Michu asks, is there something on my face? So he says, no, in fact, you are looking very lovely in this dress today. Then Michu gets a call from Tank who is shouting, come back home right now, there's something urgent. Michu quickly comes back to Tank's apartment and asks, what happened? Tank says, I have ordered some things for you. But first, you tell me, which dress is this? I have never seen this dress with you before. So Michu tells him that she wore it at Harry's house, hearing which, Tank gets angry. How can you change in a boy's house? Do you really not have any sense? Michu says, but I changed the dress inside the room, not in front of Harry, so stop overacting. Then Tank says, look, this is a smartwatch and this is a pepper spray which you must always keep in your bag because men cannot be trusted. So Michu laughs and says, then I should first try these things on you, and I shouldn't trust you either because you are also a man. On which Tank comes close to Michu and says, I am not a stranger, but your crush. So what's the need to be afraid of me? Michu says, when did I say you are my crush? And then she accidentally sprays the pepper spray near Tank's face, which puts Tank in a bad state, and he starts shouting loudly. Michu gets scared and asks, are you okay? I'll take you to the hospital right now. But Tank sits up and says, I was just acting. And well done, you have to spray just like this whenever someone else comes close to you. This is a rule that you must follow if you want to live in this house. In the next scene, we see that Harry had come to give some stuff to Michu. Michu asks him to come inside, which Tank doesn't like at all. Harry also understands that he has a problem with me sitting here, so he asks, "Do you like to exercise?" Tank says, "Yes, and I can do 200 push-ups in a day." Hearing this, Harry is shocked. What, 200 push-ups? But now, because he doesn't want to be left behind, he said, Yes, I also easily do that many push-ups every day." Then a competition starts between them, and Michu is surprised to see them like this. Then she understands how they are both doing this just to win against each other, so she tells them to stop again. So then they both quickly stand up. "Okay, now that you're saying it, we're stopping. Otherwise, I was going to win today." Actually, both of them were in a bad state. Then Harry says bye to Michu and is leaving from here, while his whole body was shaking due to pain. So, Tank was also trying to act cool and drink tea, but his hands were shaking due to pain. So Michu says, "When neither of you could do it, why were you competing like heroes in front of me?" The next day, we see that when Tank is having breakfast, Michu starts staring at him non-stop, meaning she's getting attracted to him. Then she tells herself, "I should not get attracted to him." Then she quickly goes to her room and puts Tank's photo on her mobile. "I should not give a place in my heart to anyone other than Tank." But when she comes out at night, she sees Tank sleeping and once again starts getting attracted to him. And she comes close to Tank and is about to kiss him, but then she moves away. And when she's about to leave, Tank doesn't let her go because he knows that Michu is about to kiss him. But Michu somehow frees herself and runs away from there, and then quickly comes to her room and says, "I should focus on my work. Only then will I be able to forget Neonbai." But later, when she had been working for a long time, Tank comes to Michu and, without saying anything, takes Michu to the side and starts kissing her. Michu also likes all this. So she doesn't stop him because she has now started to like Tank. But just then, her sleep broke, and she found out that all this was just her dream. So she says, "Thank God I didn't do all this in real life." Then in the morning, we are shown that Tank is not at home. Instead, he leaves a note for Michu. "I am going to my company. I will be back late, so don't wait for my return. But keep the pepper spray with you at all times for your own safety." So she starts laughing after reading this. But when she saw the news on TV about how a building has caught fire, which is the same building where Tank has gone, so seeing this, she gets very worried. On the other side, this same news also reaches Miss Rose. This is Tank's company, so she also gets very worried for Tank. Then Michu runs to the place where the fire had spread a lot and no one was being allowed to go forward. So then Michu starts crying badly. "Please let me go. I can't stay here." She then says while crying, "Sorry, Neonbai. I never understood your feelings. The truth is that now I have also started to like you and I can't live without you now." Just then, someone from behind asks, "Are you telling the truth?" Michu turns around to look and finds out that the person is none other than Tank. So Michu is surprised. Actually, Tank was not injured at all. Michu runs and hugs Tank. She is also crying. Tank says, "Be quiet, I am perfectly fine. And are the things you were saying just now true?" Michu says, "Yes, all those things are true. I have lost Tank before, but now I don't want to lose you." Tank then asks, "But you are happy knowing my feelings, right?" So then Tank says, "I have been wanting to hear all this for so long. If I had known that a fire would make you realize your feelings, I would have created such a dangerous situation long ago." Michu tells Tank to be quiet and then says, "Are you in pain anywhere? Should we go to the hospital? Who knows, you might have inhaled this smoke, which could make you sick later." Michu says all this in one breath out of concern for Tank. So then Tank directly kisses Michu because he was happy to see how much Michu was worrying about him. Just then, Harry also sees all this there and gets jealous. Meanwhile, Miss Rose also sees them both, and she doesn't like it either. Then we see the scene at home where Tank and Michu are still together. Tank says, "I feel very good that there is someone to worry about me." So Michu promises, "I will always take care of you." After which, they both start kissing each other when it is shown that a light is visible from a plant, because a mic was fixed inside it, which Harry had done. Therefore, Harry was also listening to all their conversations, and then it is shown how he had fixed the mic in the plant, and then gifted that plant to Michu. Harry is now very angry. Was Tank not enough that now Neonbai has come in my way? Why doesn't Michu fall in love with me? Then he says, "If Michu is not mine, then I will not let her be anyone else's, and if I am not happy, then no one will be happy." Then he comes outside Neonbai's apartment and starts knocking on the door loudly. Michu hears the knock on the door, so she starts to go to open the door. But Tank already knew that this must be Harry, so he didn't let Michu go anywhere. Instead, he picks up Michu and starts taking her to the room with him. Meanwhile, on the other side, when Harry sees that no one is coming to open the door, he leaves from there. The next day, Michu's assistant tells her, "Some of the diamonds we ordered are not real, so please come to the office quickly." So Michu tells Tank everything and starts to leave from there. but Tank tells her, "You don't need to worry too much. I am always with you, always here to support you," which makes Michu feel good. After that, we see that Michu meets Harry and her assistant. The assistant tells her how some diamonds of bad quality have arrived. Michu says, "I never order bad things, so I will have to talk to the supplier." The assistant leaves from there. Harry also says to Michu, "I will always be with you." Michu feels good that, along with Tank, Harry also always supports me. But when Michu was alone in this place, Harry, while leaving, started saying, "Michu, forgive me. I don't want to do this, but it is also necessary to teach you a lesson, because I have been doing a lot for you from the beginning." Harry locks Michu in that place and leaves. On the other side, Tank is thinking, "It's been a long time. Why hasn't Michu come back home yet?" When Michu realizes that she is locked in this place, she gets very worried. Then when some boxes move and strange noises come, Michu gets very scared. Is this a ghost? No, I shouldn't be scared because there is no such thing as a ghost. Just then she saw some rats, seeing which she started screaming loudly and started running from here to there. Seeing all this on the screen, Harry is laughing. Actually, Harry's plan is that now he will go to save Michu so that she can realize that only he is there for her in her bad times. But as he is about to go, before Harry can reach, Tank reaches to save Michu. Tank enters like a hero to save his heroine Michu. But seeing all this, Harry's condition worsens with anger. Then we see the next day, Michu is telling Harry on the call that new quality diamonds have been arranged, which Nianbai has arranged. Harry asks, "But is it right to trust Nianbai?" So Michu says, "Of course, because now we are both in a relationship." So Harry pretends to be ignorant and congratulates Michu with a jealous heart, and then gets very angry after cutting the call. After this, we see that Tank's investigation reveals that someone had deliberately changed Michu's diamonds. Tank understands who could do such a thing, so he comes to Miss Rose and says, "You did this, didn't you, so that the Honey Love series would flop before its launch?" So then Miss Rose says, "Yes, and I was doing all this to help you." Tank gets very angry and warns her, "From today onwards, you will not do any such thing because I cannot see Michu in trouble. If you do anything bad again, then we will not be partners but enemies." This makes Miss Rose very angry with Tank. In the next scene, we see that in the morning, Michu and Tank are both jogging, but Michu was tired. So she climbs on Tank's shoulder, "Carry me." After this, Tank carries Michu on his back for a long time, but when he gets completely tired, Michu kisses him, which charges him up. Then someone again secretly clicks photos of them both. Then he brings those photos and shows them to Miss Rose because Miss Rose had hired this man for this job. She says, "Make these photos go viral on social media because I want to put Michu in trouble again." Next, we see that Michu's secretary, worried, tells her a very big scene has been created. When Michu comes online, she finds out that those photos had gone viral everywhere. The assistant says, "Because of this news, our Honey Love is being greatly impacted because Honey Love symbolized the true love between you and Mr. Tank. But now, rumors are spreading that you are dating someone else and want to sell your jewelries by lying." Tank also hears all this and talks to her. The secretary asks, "Are you really dating someone?" Michu tells her, "Yes." So then the assistant gets even more worried that these are not rumors but the truth. Michu calms the assistant down and says, "Don't worry, we will all find a way out together. You continue the preparations for the launching ceremony." And then she apologizes to Tank. "Because of me, you also have to face problems. It's a good thing that no one has seen you till today. Otherwise, they would have recognized from the photos that the person with me is you." Tank is about to tell her that he is Tank, but Michu silences him, saying, "I need your hug at this time." In the next scene, we see that Michu has arrived for the launch ceremony, where the media started questioning her. "What do you have to say about yesterday's photos?" Michu says, "I am here for Honey Love, so why don't you all ask me questions related to that?" So then they all said, "You were selling your jewelry by giving it the name of the true love between you and Mr. Tank. So don't you think that now that you have started dating someone else, you should change this slogan?" Michu says nothing. Instead, she was quietly listening to all these things. A girl says, "I am a big fan of Mr. Lewis, whose name is being tarnished because of you, so end the contract with him right now." And when she picks up a bottle and throws it at Michu, suddenly Tank comes in front to save her. Then he tells everyone, "My name is Mr. Lewis with whom Honey Love is collaborating." Hearing this, everyone is badly shocked. Tank tells everyone, "I am the one with Miss Michu in these photos as well, and I am also Tank. That is Miss Michu's old boyfriend." Everyone is even more surprised. How is this possible? Because Mr. Tank was dead. Michu is also left shocked, thinking, "How can Nianbai go to this extent to help me?" Tank explains to everyone, "When I was in the US, someone shot me, but somehow I saved my life. But I didn't know that the rumor of my death would spread so fast in China. How sad is it that I have met my love after a whole year, but you people thought I was someone else and linked my girlfriend's name with someone else." The media people ask, "Where were you for a year?" So Tank says, I was right here. So it would be better if you all don't get confused. The media people become quiet after hearing all this. In the next scene, we are shown that Michu is angry with Tank. What was the need for you to lie in front of everyone? How long will you pretend to be Tank instead of Nianbai? Just then, Miss Rose also comes there. She is also angry about the same thing. But first, she asks Michu to leave from there. Then she asks Tank, why on earth are you revealing your identity? Don't you want to take revenge on Mr. Han? So then Tank says, I know that you were the one who revealed all those photos, even though I warned you not to harm Michu. Miss Rose says, if you love Michu so much, then why don't you go and tell her the truth that the one who tried to have you killed was none other than her father, Mr. Han. And don't forget that I saved your life. But Tank still ends the deal with Miss Rose. Miss Rose says, we are siblings in Michu's eyes, so it won't be right if we suddenly end our relation. So Tank says, I will handle all that. In the next scene, we are shown that Michu's assistant tells her, you and Mr. Tank are trending once again, and Honeylove's sales have also increased a lot. So Michu is happy to hear this, but also sad. When the truth comes out, will our sales fall at the same speed? Just then she finds Tank's wallet fallen there, which she picks up and says, I will return this to Nianbai. But when a photo of Michu and Tank together falls out from inside the wallet, which only Tank used to have, Michu is shocked. She becomes convinced that this person who calls himself Nianbai is none other than Tank. Just then, Tank also comes and starts asking about the sales. Michu shows him the photo and asks, you are Tank, aren't you? So then Tank becomes silent. Then he finally accepts, yes, I am Tank. Forgive me. I had to hide this from you out of compulsion. But Michu starts crying badly. Did you not trust me or our love, that you hid such a big thing from me? Do you even have any idea how much I used to miss you? And you used to see with your own eyes how much I suffered. Tank starts apologizing non-stop, but Michu doesn't listen to anything. Just then, Harry also comes there and pushes Tank away from Michu, saying, can't you understand? Michu doesn't want to talk to you. He takes Michu with him from there. After this, we see Michu at Harry's house, where Harry says, after a while, I will drop you at your father's house. Michu says, I don't understand. If Nianbai is Tank, then what is Tank's relationship with my stepmother? That is, Miss Rose? Harry says, now only one of them can tell you this. But leave it. Your Honeylove series has become famous, so you should celebrate. Here, I'll put on some music for you. And when he played a strange song, Michu didn't like it at all. So Michu says a lot, please turn it off. But Harry also doesn't listen. She is surprised. How have you changed so much? Whereas before, you never used to force me for anything. Harry stops for fear that Michu might find out about his psycho side, so he quickly turns off the music. In the next scene, Michu asks Miss Rose, when Tank is not your real sibling, then why were you helping him? Michu says, I have learned the truth. Then finally Miss Rose tells her, Tank and I have known each other since childhood. After this, we see Miss Rose talking to someone else. Then she starts looking at a DNA report. Actually, Miss Rose had received this report before going to Michu, in which it was clearly written that Nianbai and Tank are the same person. But Miss Rose had paid money to change the report and had it sent online to Michu. In the present, she smiles and says, I did so much, but still, Michu fell in love with Tank again. And now she also knows the truth that Nian and Tank are the same person. In the next scene, the media people ask Michu, when are you going to marry Mr. Tank? Tank comes in between and says, we will announce the wedding very soon. Later, Michu starts fighting over this same thing. Why on earth did you hide the truth of your being alive from me? Tank doesn't say anything, so Michu says, I gave you a last chance to tell the whole truth, which you have lost. And then she leaves from there in anger. In the next scene, Michu and Tank have come to a show. Tank goes somewhere, so the interviewer asks Michu, where on earth has Mr. Tank gone? The show is about to start. Just then Tank comes back, who first gives Michu her favorite tea. Then Tank puts shoes on Michu with his own hands, saying, the interview will be sitting down, in which your legs will not be visible, so get comfortable. Then everyone is happy to see this moment. Wow, there is so much love between these two. Michu also feels good now because of what Tank did. When Miss Rose sees this video, she gets very angry. Then she hires 2 men to teach Michu a lesson. Then after giving the interview, Michu is going back home. Seeing Michu alone, the same 2 men, whom Miss Rose had sent, start bothering Michu. Michu starts running. Then Tank comes and fights well with these 2, where while fighting, Tank's hand gets quite injured. So he takes Michu and runs away from there, and they both come to a place and hide. Michu is very scared, but Tank feels good that Michu is so close to me. Michu also asks, has everyone gone? Tank says, no, because Tank didn't feel like pushing Michu away from him at all. But Tank's hand was also injured, so Michu applies medicine to Tank's hand at Tank's house. Tank thinks, she still loves me very much today. Michu says, I'm going back to my father's house from here. Tank tries hard to stop Michu, but when she doesn't stop, he acts and says, "My hand is hurting very badly." Michu starts to believe that Tank's hand is really hurting a lot. So she says, "Okay, I will stay here tonight." At night, we see that Michu, feeling hungry, comes to get some food from the fridge. Just then, Tank also comes close to Michu and starts eating bread. Michu asks, "Are you crazy for doing this?" Tank says, "Yes, I am crazy in love with you." And then he starts kissing Michu. Then, they both start kissing each other. After which, in the morning, we are shown both of them together. Tank wakes up and sees where Michu has disappeared. Then he finds out that Michu is getting ready to go to the company. When Michu is leaving, Tank is also following her, saying, "I love you, so I can't go away from you, but will always follow you." Just then, we see that Harry also comes here and asks, "Is everything okay between you two?" Tank reacts as if we never had a fight. Then he forcibly takes Michu with him from there. In the next scene, we see that when the Honey Love meeting was going on in the company, some people say, "Now that our real president, that is Mr. Tank, has returned, why is Miss Michu on the president's seat?" Anyway, Mr. Tank has given the most shares in this company. Michu doesn't say anything after hearing all this, but just then Tank comes and says, "I am transferring all my shares in Miss Michu's name. So now no one will remove Michu from the president's seat." Hearing this, everyone is badly shocked. Michu too. How can Tank make such a big decision? Does he trust me so much? In the next scene, Tank talks to someone on the phone and asks to collect more data about Miss Rose. And then he remembers the day when he had gone to Michu's cabin to see the property papers. Then he saw there that Michu's father, that is, Mr. Han, when he found out that Michu is his real daughter, I was shot before that, meaning that Mr. Han had no hand in having me killed. Rather, Mr. Han is being framed. There is something that Miss Rose is hiding from me. So now I am not her partner and I will find out the truth very soon about who was behind my murder. Just then, Michu asks Tank, "Why did you give me all the shares of your hard work?" Tank says, "So that you can believe that for me, nothing is really more important than you." He then says, "Michu, forgive me for hiding the truth from you. Actually, I didn't have the courage left to tell you anything, while I myself used to cry a lot whenever I saw you crying for me." He pulls Michu close and asks, "Do you remember the day when you lost your locket? I was the one who returned it to you?" Michu remembers that day, how the locket came back to her on its own, and I didn't even know that the person who just passed by me was Tank. He also promises her that he will never leave Michu again and will never lie. Michu says, "I am forgiving you this time. If you do something again after this, I will never forgive you." Then she kisses Tank, because now finally everything is fine between these two. On the other side, it is shown that a man slaps Miss Rose hard, who is Harry. He says, "How dare you get Michu into trouble? Do you have any idea that because of your actions, Tank and Michu have come even closer?" And then he starts saying, "Now I will have to do something about this Tank again." Hearing this, Miss Rose gets angry at Harry. "You will not do anything to my Tank, otherwise I will not spare you." Harry says, "Wow, now you are so concerned about Tank. Where did this love disappear when you and I together had Tank killed in the US and put the blame on Mr. Han? Imagine if Tank finds out this truth, how much he will hate you." Miss Rose gets angry again. "You will not tell Tank anything because you were the one who forced me to do all this. But if you still tell Tank anything, then I will harm your Michu, because if we are to be caught, we will be caught together." In the next scene, we see Tank, who is sleeping with Michu. Just then, he gets some voice messages which were of bad news. So he leaves Michu sleeping and quietly leaves from there. And then, when he comes to the same place where Harry and Miss Rose were fighting, he comes here and is badly shocked because Miss Rose was taking her last breaths. Someone had attacked her, due to which a lot of blood was also flowing from her head. Tank starts to get worried. Who on earth did this to you? But she only calls out Tank's name and then closes her eyes. Miss Rose had liked Tank since childhood. Tank quickly picks up Miss Rose and starts taking her to the hospital. On the other side, when Michu wakes up, she gets worried. Where has Tank disappeared? So she calls Tank. Tank says on the call, "Many problems have come up in my US company, so I have to go to the US urgently. Don't worry about me, I will be back soon." Tank is doing all this to save Miss Rose, and when he was carrying her in an injured state, he gets captured on a CCTV camera. The next day, we see that Harry is telling Michu about Miss Rose's death. "Your stepmother is dead." Hearing this, she is badly shocked. She is also surprised to know that Tank was carrying Miss Rose's body, which was captured on a CCTV camera. This means he is her murderer. Michu says, "No, Tank can never do such a thing. Last night he told me on the call that he is going to the US, so I can prove Tank innocent." But when she talked to the agent, she found out that Tank didn't go to the US at all, but is here in China. Then, when she checks her laptop, she finds out that now this news is coming everywhere that Mr. Tank has killed his girlfriend's stepmother, that is, Miss Rose. In the next scene, Michu's assistant tells her that Honeylove has suffered a huge decline. Everyone is also taking back their shares. So then Michu gets even more worried. the assistant gives her an idea. If you ask for help from Mr. Harry, then everything can be fine. Michu goes to ask for help from Harry, so Harry says, I can understand your situation, but I cannot decide all this alone. Michu becomes silent, so Harry asks her to marry him. This way, I can help you. But Michu refuses. In the next scene, when Michu returns home, her father, that is Mr. Han, has been discharged from the hospital and has come home. Mr. Han says, so much has happened, so I had to come back. Actually, Mr. Han has now found out everything about what Miss Rose was doing behind his back and how she has now died. Mr. Han says, if I had known that Rose would be such a woman, I would never have married her. And that boy who was her partner, he has betrayed you too, right? Michu says, no, father, I am sure that Tank cannot do such a thing, and you will see he will definitely come back. In the next scene, Michu starts missing Tank while looking at his glass puppy. Tank, how did you non-stop say sorry to him last time and promise that you will not leave me again? But once again you have broken my trust. Then Michu directly calls Harry and asks, is your marriage offer still available? Because I am ready to get married. In the next scene, the assistant tells Michu, by strengthening the connection with Mr. Harry and announcing the wedding, your dad's business has recovered. But due to the news of the breakup with Mr. Tank, Honeylove is once again suffering losses. Michu doesn't give any reply. Just then, Harry comes and says to Michu, I will bring Honeylove back to its position and we will become the best jewelry couple in China. In the next scene, Harry makes Michu do a lot of shopping. He completely changes Michu's hairstyle along with her dress, which Michu doesn't even like. But Harry says, I really like this on you. And when he is about to kiss her, Michu moves back. Then Harry says, the media is still outside your house. Your dad is admitted in the hospital, so why don't you stay at my house? Anyway, our wedding is in a few days, so I will take good care of you. Michu agrees, and when she comes to Harry's house, she changes her hairstyle back to the previous one. Harry doesn't like this at all, but he asks Michu to have dinner, which he himself had made for her. Michu first apologizes to Harry. Actually, I didn't like that look. Then when she tastes the dish, she doesn't like it because Harry had used wasabi in all the dishes, which Michu doesn't like at all. So Michu doesn't eat properly, whereas Harry forces Michu, just try it once. The next morning, we see that Harry has made food for Michu and gone to a meeting. But he had again used wasabi in all the dishes, so Michu is not eating this food. Just then, the doorbell rang, which Michu opens, and it turns out that Tank has returned. Tank directly starts kissing Michu, whereas Michu slaps Tank and pushes him away and asks, are you crazy? Where have you been all this time? Do you even know the police are looking for you? So then Tank says, I found out about the news of your and Harry's wedding, so I had to come. At this time, I am in a lot of trouble myself. And as for the police, I did not attack Miss Rose. In fact, I was helping her. Michu says, I also found out from Dad that you wanted to ruin my father's business along with Miss Rose. Tank says, no, it's not like that. I admit that I fell for Miss Rose's words before. But Michu, believe me, I can never harm your family. Hearing all this, Michu finally believes Tank and starts kissing him, because she herself cannot stay away from Tank. Just then, Harry comes to the door, so Michu hides Tank in her room. Then, when Harry comes, Michu says, let's go watch a movie. Harry is happy with this, that Michu is inviting me to a movie for the first time, so he happily agrees. Michu starts getting ready in the room, where Tank again starts kissing Michu and says, come with me. But Michu refuses to go anywhere because she has to take care of her father's company. Tank says, it's okay, you wait for my return. I am going to fix everything very soon. Then we see how they both have come back home after watching the movie, where Harry was very happy after watching the horror movie. But Michu's entire mood was spoiled because she doesn't like horror movies at all. Tank, who had come out of the house as soon as Harry and Michu left, meets a man who tells Tank about Michu's elder sister, that is, Hu Rui, who looked like Michu. Tank says, yes, Michu also told me about this once, that she had an elder sister who died in a car accident. So then that man says, the shocking thing is that Miss Michu's sister, Hu Rui, was dating Mr. Harry in college, and when Hu Rui died, Mr. Harry suffered a great shock, due to which he went to the US for treatment. So, it is possible that your suspicion about Mr. Harry is correct, that he is the same person who had you shot. Tank says, this proof is not enough. We need to collect more proof as soon as possible. Then the next morning we see that when Michu comes out of the room, there were many horror movie CDs kept here with a note, Michu, you choose one of these, then we will watch it together. Michu gets worried. How do I tell him that I don't like horror movies at all? Then she puts the mobile on the table when the LED accidentally turns on. And on the screen, a video of Michu's elder sister, that is, Hu Rui, starts playing where she is with Harry. Michu is shocked. Today, she found out that Harry has dated her elder sister who was like her. That's why now Harry is after Mi Chu. In the video, Hu Rui is making a doll for Harry's birthday and promises, "I will make a doll for you on your every birthday." Hearing this, Mi Chu remembers that Harry was also making me make a doll on his birthday and was requesting, "Mi Chu, please make a doll for me on every birthday." And then when Mi Chu looked carefully at the dolls kept in Harry's house, she started getting scared looking at them. In the video, Hu Rui also mentions horror movies, which were her favorite, so then Mi Chu understands that's why Harry was also forcibly making me watch horror movies. Then she remembers that the bracelet Harry gifted me on my birthday was also in Hu Rui's name. But at that time I couldn't understand this. Mi Chu notices a mole on her sister's back in the video, so she pauses to look at it. The same mole is on my back too, which wasn't there before but appeared suddenly. Just then, Harry comes here and asks, "Do you know everything?" Harry says, "When you fainted at my house that day, I made the same mole on your back as Hu Rui had because I see my Hu Rui in you, so I want you to become exactly like her." Mi Chu starts to get very scared of Harry, so she started trying to run away. But Harry doesn't let Mi Chu go anywhere, but catches Mi Chu and ties her to a chair. Then he says, "My Hu Rui liked jackets, liked horror movies, liked wasabi, whereas you don't like all these things at all. So I was scared, will you ever be able to become like my Hu Rui? But when you came in front of me wearing Hu Rui's dress that day, I just kept staring at you because you looked exactly like my Hu Rui. So I had decided that now I will make you Hu Rui and keep you with me." Mi Chu is very scared, so she starts crying too. But Harry says, "Don't you worry. After the wedding, I am going to take great care of you. Just in return, you have to live exactly like Hu Rui." Then we see the wedding day where Harry is happily coming with Mi Chu. But Mi Chu looks very worried. And before they both could get married, Tank comes and asks to stop the wedding. Mi Chu tells Tank to leave from here. But Harry says, "No, now the police will arrest him for the crime of killing Miss Rose." So then Tank says, "Yes, the police will arrest the one who committed the crime." Then Miss Rose comes there, who is alive because Tank had saved her life. Harry is shocked to see Miss Rose alive. Then Miss Rose tells, "Harry attacked me." Then the story goes into the past where Miss Rose was fighting with Harry. "How can you set fire to Tank's building?" Harry says, "Tank will die sooner or later. Only then will I be able to make Mi Chu mine forever." Miss Rose gets very angry, due to which a fight starts between them. And then Harry pushes Miss Rose back, so Miss Rose gets a very severe head injury, and a heavy object also falls on her leg, due to which her leg is also badly injured. Harry gets scared that Miss Rose is dead, and now the blame will come on me. So he calls Tank from Miss Rose's mobile so that he can frame Tank in this crime, and he himself runs away from there. In the present, everyone is badly shocked to know the truth, because until now, Harry's image was very good in front of everyone. Tank says, "The police are coming to arrest you because I have also found out that you were the one who had me shot in the US. So then Harry first doesn't react. Then he reveals that he has tied Mi Chu's hands with a bomb because today he will marry Mi Chu at any cost, and whoever comes to stop them, he will press the button and blow up the whole place. Tank is blown away to know this, so the people sitting behind start running from here because everyone has understood that Harry has gone mad. Tank tells Miss Rose to leave this place. And then again, he explains to Harry saying, "Think, if Hu Rui were alive today, would she ever want something like this?" Hearing Hu Rui's name, Harry gets lost in thought for a while. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Tank cleverly pushes Mi Chu away from Harry and also throws the remote away. Harry was about to pick up the remote to press the button, but Tank picks up the remote before him. But Harry stabs Tank in the stomach with a knife. Mi Chu screams very loudly seeing this scene, so Harry doesn't back down until he kills Tank. But Tank gathers all his strength and pushes Harry away from him. Then he gives Harry a strong punch and knocks him unconscious. But Tank's condition had become quite serious. He somehow comes to Mi Chu, so Mi Chu is also crying badly, and says, "Let's go to the hospital. We still have time." But Tank refuses, and as soon as he closes his eyes, Mi Chu starts crying even more loudly. "No, Tank, you can't leave me, so please get up." Then we are told that Harry has been jailed for the crime of killing Miss Rose and Tank. So there, Tank was still alive, who is admitted in the hospital. Miss Rose apologizes to Mi Chu for all her mistakes and says, "Please take good care of Tank." Mi Chu says, "Yes, absolutely." Then now, Miss Rose says goodbye to Mi Chu and is about to leave from here when Mr. Han asks Miss Rose about her life. Miss Rose says, "I have done such bad things that all this was bound to happen to me." Just then, Mr. Han gives her some papers which were for divorce, and along with that, some papers of a very big hotel which Mr. Han had transferred in Miss Rose's name. Miss Rose is quite shocked and asks, "Have you really transferred such a big hotel in my name?" So then he says, "Yes, I wanted to give this to you from the beginning. I admit that I had transferred the entire Hua Group in Mi Chu's name from the beginning, but I had saved this hotel for you. You are young and also good at hotel management, so start your new life well." In the next scene, we see that finally Tank regains consciousness. where at first he starts acting as if he has lost his memory. But when Michu kisses Tank in his own style, he says, "You have learned a lot from me." Hearing this, she starts laughing loudly. Now we see a scene from a whole month later where Michu has achieved even more success in Honeylove and her dad's business. So Tank feels proud of Michu. In the next scene, Tank had called Michu to meet at a place. Michu sees a box kept there and can't understand what could be inside it. Just then, Tank comes and takes out a wedding ring from that box and proposes to Michu for marriage once again, and also confesses all his feelings how important Michu is to him. Michu gets emotional, so she starts crying. Then she says yes to Tank, so Tank becomes very happy. After which they both kiss because now finally they are both with each other forever, where now there are no problems in their life. And then, with this happy ending scene, this drama ends here.